Good morning, South High School juniors. This is Mr. Formalo, and I wanted to take some time before we started the process of pre-registering for the ACT to give you some information that'll be helpful for you as you plan and prepare to do well in these exams on Tuesday, March 1st and Wednesday, March 2nd. We will be taking two exams, one being the ACT plus writing test. This is a 5-test test, and you'll be testing in English, math, reading, science, and then doing a writing test at the end. This is a long day, and most likely don't plan on being done with testing until about between 12:30, right around 12:30. The ACT is a National College Admissions exam for 4-year and 2-year institutions. And the benefit to you as juniors is many of you will have taken this exam on your own. The cost of this exam is typically $56 or so. And this is a great opportunity for you to take this test for free on behalf of the SASD and the state of Wisconsin. So please take your time and take advantage of this opportunity. The other test that many of you may not have heard of and have questions about is the ACT WORKKEYS test. This is three 45-minute tests in reading for information, so essentially reading, applied mathematics, and locating information, being able to use tables and graphs. The WORKKEYS has been developed in collaboration with state leaders and employers in the state to try to find an assessment tool to use to screen employees, if you will, for the job descriptions that they have within their company. So essentially what we're saying is that employers are using this to help place employees into specific jobs or using it to hire. So you may have to use this WORKKEYS test score somewhere down the line in order to get a job. And if you don't have the score or that you need at this point in time, you may have to retake this thing down the road. Many employers are moving towards it. Locally, Johnsonville has already been using it and will continue to use it, and will be using your test scores at some point if you choose to apply at their company. So the disadvantage is that you don't know when the score might be used. So my best advice to you is to take your time with this ACT WORKKEYS test and do as best as you can now. When you receive your score, you'll get anywhere between a 3 and a 7, 7 being the highest. And your scores are then compared to the specific skills or job descriptions of a particular company. So let's look at a couple examples just so you're aware of what I'm talking about. If you are interested in being a registered nurse, at some point down the road, you may have an employer who's going to look at your scores from high school or even have you take this exam again if you haven't met their minimum skill level. But what we have to keep in mind is we have to look at what the maximum skill level is, and this is where people who are currently in this job or who are applying for this job are scoring. So in the applied math, reading for information, and locating information that we're testing, these are the scores that you're looking at getting if you want to be a quality candidate for employment as a registered nurse. Same would go for civil engineering, where you can see in order to be competitive in the civil engineering field, you're looking at needing to get a 7 in math, a 7 in reading for information, and a 6 in locating information. And it's quite competitive, as you can see. And there will be information when you get your score report on how to compare your scores with the career ideas that you have before graduating from high school. Okay, so turning it from the WORKKEYS and the ACT, I just want you to be aware of the expectations that we have for you on test day. In general, please bring a number 2 pencil sharpened with you. No mechanical pencils are to be used on the ACT. Even if they say number 2, you need to use regular wood number 2 pencils. There will be some available, but we highly recommend that you bring your own, as you never know how many you might need. Some of you may have you need 5 sharpened pencils on your desk, and some of you are cool with a broken one and you're fine. But make sure you're bringing your own pencils that you need and helping you with your routine for testing. Calculators are allowed on the mathematics test for both ACT and WORKKEYS. The most common is the TI-89. There is a list posted in your homeroom for you to review to make sure your calculator is approved. We will be checking out calculators on test day for students who may not have one, and you can check one out from either a math teacher that you know or a chemistry teacher on that day. So please arrive early enough if you need to check out a calculator. Plan ahead. You are not to have food and beverage in the testing room. You will have to leave it in the hallway if you bring it, or in your backpack, but you can't access it during testing, or in your purse or whatever you bring with you. So please plan ahead. to be hydrated and fed before testing starts. And we'll talk about that later with some advice points that I have for you. All right, so a couple expectations that we have for you, and we'll share this with you periodically throughout the week as a reminder. We're asking you not to use your lockers on test day. So you really don't need much with you that day other than your pencils and your calculator. That is all you would need. For testing, you're not expected to go any classes, and during testing you can't work on any other homework. You can't access your phones or your Chromebook or read a book or anything. So essentially I would just see this as a day for you to come and focus on testing only. You are not to access your lockers during break or after the exam until we give the all clear that students can go to their lockers. So if you're dismissed from your testing room, the expectation is that you leave the building or go wait in the commons until you can come back up into the main part of the building to go to your locker. Cell phones, this is always the big one. Cell phones are not to be on your person during testing. Even if they're powered off, they cannot be on your person. So you will be expected to turn your cell phones over to your homeroom teacher. They will be held in the testing room during the duration of testing. The room will always be supervised, so if you have a fear of your phone disappearing, someone will be there to check on it. And if you don't want to turn it over, then the best advice that I have for you is not to bring it. Leave it in your car or leave it at home. You can go half a day without your technological devices. Thank you. Please be respectful of all test takers and do your best to be a minimal distraction in the testing room. And what I mean by that is that many of you are friends and you've been together in homeroom now for a couple of years. That when testing is over, we don't want students to be trying to engage one another in conversation, non-verbal conversation. So sit quietly, put your head down, take a quick power nap if you're done testing, go back, check your answers over, do whatever you need to do. But what I'm asking you is not to be disrespectful or a disruption in the room while others are still testing. Thank you for complying with that and being a good sport as we're all working through the testing window. The advice that I have for you going into testing is that you get plenty of rest, not just necessarily the night before, but maybe almost the whole week before. You want to make sure that you're getting your body ready for this test. It's a long exam. The ACT is a long exam, and then you have to come back in day 2 and do another 3 exams. So you want your brain to be at optimal functioning. I recommend that you eat breakfast before you come to the test. And if you need to, you can have breakfast here at school. We will have the commons will be open and serving our lunch through the school until 7:40 a.m. Hydrate excessively the day before or even a few days before to ensure your brain is working at its maximum. At being hydrated is going to be helpful. Your brain relies on water in order to pass messages back and forth. So make sure that you have that there for yourself to be successful on this test. And why not give it another go on method test prep? There is ample evidence of students who took and take MTP seriously that they get scores well above their predicted ability from maybe their Aspire testing or Plan or Explore exams that they've taken in the past. Exercising in the morning will be great. The fitness center is open. Come on in to get on the treadmill, do what you need to do to fire up the senses. And I think another big piece is having a positive attitude about the testing. And when you're taking the test, not leaving any of your answers blank. Don't be afraid to guess if you're running out of time or if you just don't know the answer. If you have any questions about testing, please let me know. We're going to turn it over now to your homeroom teachers who are going to help you with the pre-registration process. Please listen to them carefully. Do not work ahead. And I don't want you to get any information put in there wrong. It might cost you later with your scores not counting or being able to track down your scores if you're looking at applying to a college. Thank you for your time and have a great day.